If you are going through a painful breakup or divorce, and if you want to get her back, and if you want to get yourself back, if you have anxiety, if you're suffering, if you're confused, if you're not sure what to do, watch this video, because I'm going to show you in the next half an hour how to get rid of anxiety, the terror of the breakup, all of these emotions that you have, insecurity, sadness, nostalgia, the feelings of missing her, maybe you have bad thoughts about her with somebody else, and what to do so you can get her back. What you're going through can completely change your life, either for better or for worse. If you want a plan, I can help you go through this step by step. Before anything else, click on the link below and watch the training that I have on the state control system. If it resonates, then message you and I'll walk you through every single step. When you're going through a breakup or divorce, you go through 5 stages. Most people don't go through all 5. And let me tell you what these 5 are and how you can move from one to the other fast. First thing is the withdrawal mode, which is you're totally fucked. Nothing works. You can't breathe, you can't sleep, you can't even watch a movie. All you want to do is talk to her and she doesn't want to talk to you. You want to get her back, but all you think about is the life that you lost. Everything that you could have had with her, but now you don't. She has it with somebody else. Then after that, there's the next step, which is the numb mode. Usually it takes maybe a month. You feel nothing. You get used to it, depending on how long you guys were together and how bad the breakup was and how many negative emotions you have. Then you get to this stage. After that, stage 3 is the I'm okay mode. Steady, but kind of peaceful. It doesn't hurt anymore as bad. And stage 4 is the good mode. You're kind of happy, but it's not how good it used to be. It could be so much better. And the step 5 or stage 5 is the beast mode, which you feel euphoric. You're in a new world. It has been a transformation, but most guys don't get here because they don't know how to move on. I'm going to show you how to get there. I take that you're here completely fucked. And I want to get you out of this. I want to get her to this place that you're genuinely legit happy with her by your side. Even if she's not by your side, you're still happy. So right after she's gone, there are 4 things that you need to remember to get you to stabilize and come out of this terror. First thing, you got to stop making your situation worse than what it is. And that's the biggest mistake that guys make. Starting with the idea of getting out of sync. If you want to get her back, if you want her to come back and you guys have a relationship together, you need to be in sync with her. This means right now, she is not thinking about us anymore. She's thinking about you, my ex, and her. That is moved. But you're thinking about us, how we used to be. Imagine a timeline. She's moved forward, but you stay here. And the reason most guys never get their ex back and the relationship ends is not because the breakup is the end of the relationship. The breakup is usually just a bump, but they go out of sync and they speak different language. She says, hey, we're over. Instead of the guy agreeing with the breakup and initiating a new relationship, he keeps holding on to the past. No, we're not breaking up. Give me another chance. If you want to get back together with her, you have to sync with her. You have to accept that the relationship is over, because that relationship is over, man. You can make a new relationship with her. That's really important. If you understand this one concept, I'll give you the text messages related to this in the program as well. I'll put a link in the description. If you understand this, being in sync together, your communication with her will become so much easier. The reason she resists, the reason she doesn't want to talk to you, the reason she avoids you is because you're out of sync. And she doesn't tell you that, hey, you're out of sync. She just disconnects. The second mistake is begging and pleading. Oh, baby, please come back. Give me another chance. Look, man, don't ever forget this. She does not care how you feel. She doesn't care. That's not her concern. So get this out of your head, that if you tell her this, if you tell her about how you feel, she's going to give you another chance. She doesn't care, man. That's not her business anymore. So you have to stop yourself. I know how badly you want to tell her, but you cannot tell her about how you feel right now. You cannot beg her back. The other thing is uncalibrated negotiations. So what do you guys do? She leaves and the guy feels regrets. Maybe you feel regrets. Maybe you feel you took her for granted. Maybe she fell out of love with you. Then what does the guy do? He goes there without considering what she feels. He starts to change her mind, convince her, oh, listen, this is what I'm going to do. This is what happened. You got to give me another chance because of this. She doesn't even hear you, man. If you want to get her back, there is certain blueprints you follow, there's certain steps you need to take that I teach you in state control. I'm going to show you actually after this one. There is a way you should talk to her to get her back. Okay, and this is not the way to just go and just tell her the things that you think you want to tell her, the things that make sense to you. You need to tell her things that make sense to her. So you need to level with her, and it's very difficult for most guys because they get stuck in the past. So they speak a different language. Imagine, let me give you an example. Imagine a gay guy comes to you, and I assume that you're straight, and wants to convince you to have sex with him. If you're straight, it's not going to happen. And you're kind of in the same situation. That's uncalibrated negotiation. You're not in the same category as this guy. That's why it's never going to work. So if you want to communicate with her, all of the things that you want to tell her, all the things about the past, all the things, feelings that you have, it's not what she wants to hear. There's another language. I'm going to show you what it is. Taking your emotions to her as well as another thing. Oh, look at me. I'm sad because of this. I'm sad because of this breakup. I'm struggling. I'm going through this. She doesn't care, dude. It's over. I tell you, it's over, because if you want to have a new relationship, you need to understand that this is over. She's not your emotional support anymore. She's not your partner anymore. If you want to rebuild this, you have to get over all of that. There's a way to release all of these emotions, but it doesn't mean you should take them to her. And there's this monologue lecture trying to explain without her consent or without her wanting to discuss. That's another mistake that guys make. All of these that I told you, these 5, are the biggest mistake that guys make and stop the girl from feeling attraction or trusting them again. What is this monologue lecture? It's like the dude, he gets dumped and he thinks, wait a minute, she doesn't know this. She doesn't know that this happened or that happened. She doesn't know how I think. Let me go. And start to write a big message. These stupid things that they tell you, these coaching programs, hey, write this apology letter, accountability letter, send it to her. Dude, she doesn't want to hear it. If she tells you, okay, we should talk about it, then there are certain things you tell her. But until that point, it's not her problem, man. The relationship is over. Do not send her messages without her wanting to talk about this. Do not tell her those things. Do not tell her about the apology. Even if you send an apology and acknowledge the mistake, she says, okay, cool, thank you, see you later. You need to tell her things at the right time. You have to, all of these things, you need to get in sync with her and then have that important conversation, which I'm going to show you how. Now, second thing, let me go back here. So first thing, those mistakes. You avoid those mistakes so you don't make the situation worse. Second thing, you need to survive. You need to survive the attack. You must find peace in this new setting. That's why you need rituals. Most guys never get their ex back, and they suffer for months, sometimes even more than a month, because they don't do this part right. I want to show you why this step is extremely important. Because the first step of fixing any issue is having awareness of it. Why does it hurt so much? Because something that was so precious to you, someone that was so important to you, is now out in the wild. Not only she doesn't want to be with you, she's going to find happiness and companionship with someone else. Another dude is going to enjoy her looks. Another dude is going to have sex with her. Another guy is going to get closer to her. All of these thoughts in your head are bothering you right now. It's not just, oh, it was just a breakup. It's not, okay, it was just a breakup. It's a lot more. You're stepping into a new world without her. A world where everything is a trigger. The music, the streets, friends, memories, locations, I don't know, gym, cafe, home. And also rejection creates obsession. That's a big one. I'll talk about that later. Now, the relationship also contributed to your self-worth, your self-image, your identity. Now, when you grieve, you're grieving loss of a partner, her looks, her sex, her comfort, closeness, company, all the time that you have together. And there's the struggles and fears of not finding somebody as attractive as her, somebody that you feel that good heart-to-heart connection, someone that be as good company as her. And also this loss of a future. That picture that you had in mind is now gone. And this romantic relationship also increases the brain chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, and all the pleasure hormones. Now, suddenly, disruption of all these hormones, it leads to sadness, stress, and withdrawal symptoms. Look, you're in a battlefield. If you want to get her back, you need to be strong, physically, mentally, emotionally. For you to be strong, you need to have rituals. Right now, you probably don't have appetite. If you don't have appetite, you have to eat. If you cannot eat, what do? You get 2 shakes a day. What are these 2 shakes? There's milk or almond milk or oat milk. You put 2 bananas in each of them. You put dates in them. You put protein powder in them. You need to eat, man. Because for you to think, to be able to communicate with her, for you to think, to go through this, for example, for you to control your emotions, your body needs to be strong. And if you don't eat, if you don't sleep, then your body's going to be weak. If you're sleep deprived and you cannot think, you make mistakes, you become more vulnerable and you tell her things you shouldn't tell her. This step is so important for you to survive. For example, I wrote here binary beat naps. Every day You put your headphones. I give you this in the program as well. You listen to these binary beats. Some of them you can get on YouTube, or you can get an app that is called Brainwave. Get this, put the binary beats preset for sleep, put the headphones. If you cannot sleep, you need to do that. Just close your eyes and sit. Close your eyes and just don't move like this. 20 minutes. Do it after lunch. Do it in the evening as well. Before you go to bed, put the binary beats so you relax. You need to rest. Another thing that really calms you down and takes this stress away from you is to have a plan. In the program, Expect Master Plan, that's basically what we do. It's a 4-week plan that will show you how to go through this step by step. You need to have a plan. If you have a plan, you calm down. You're relaxed. If you don't have a plan, you feel like a chicken without a head. You're stressed. You're not sure what to do. You have more anxiety. You cannot calm down. You need to have a plan. If you want me to help you with a plan, check the link of State Control System in the description. Another thing is, this really helped as well. When I remember I was going through this, I went through this a few times myself. You know, it feels like, let me read this for you. It feels like you don't want to do anything. Let me read this for you. It feels like every moment feels stretched out. I wrote this when I was going through this, and whenever I talk to someone, I usually share this because this is exactly how it feels. Every moment feels stretched out, like time is crawling. You're stuck with this feeling that you don't want to be anywhere, not at work, not at home, nowhere. You don't even want to be watching a movie. It's kind of like you're missing something as vital as air. There's this tightness to your chest, this heaviness. Every breath is like being reminded of how empty everything had become. Like there was this never-ending darkness. Your energy is super low, even crashed. And even the simplest tasks feel overwhelming. It feels like you're neck deep in thick mud trying to run, but every move you make is a huge struggle and doesn't seem to make any difference. Instead of moving forward, you just get slower and sink even deeper. Craving your presence is unbearable. It's like a loud noise in your head, but not in a peaceful way. That's why it's extremely important that you do not discount this pain and the problem and do all of the things that I show you here. I remember I was in the rehab center in Chiang Rai in Thailand, and I was going through this. It was really painful. So what we used to do every morning, we used to do this walking meditation. Wake up, go in the nature and walk for 1 hour. No phone, no distraction, nothing. When you walk and you don't do anything, you're not distracted, you allow yourself to process. You allow these emotions to go through. You need to do that. Most of the times when you guys get stuck and they struggle is because they don't give themselves this time to just do nothing. Riding bike was really cool. I remember you probably don't want to do anything. When you're on a bike, you just go for a ride. It feels good. It's peaceful. You don't need to think much. You're just there. You're not looking at your phone. You're not distracted. Going ride is good. Hiking is good. Doing nothing is good when you're having some physical activity. Playing soccer is good. Do things that are really, really easy. Now, after that, you need to plan your next move. If you plan your next move, like I said before, you will be peaceful, you will be calm, and if you make progress, you will feel better, you feel good. If you're just sitting there, jumping from one YouTube video to another, reading a little bit of this, reading a little bit of that, everybody tells you something. Some people tell you do no contact, some people tell you to send them a message. If you're scattered, you're going to be more stressed. You need to have a plan. That's why in the Expect Master Plan, I show you exactly what to do step by step. Don't do this without a plan. Whatever you do, pick a plan. Don't waste time in no contact. That 30 days is really, really important. It's like a golden window that it closes. It's a golden time, like a window that closes and guys don't take advantage of it. It's a big mistake and it's very common advice that some coaches give. The problem with that is it's passive aggressive, it's manipulative. Yeah, maybe she missed you and come back, but the problem is not solved. The real problem, we need to fix that. Doesn't matter if you stay away for 30 days or 30 years. You need to fix the problem the right way. This anxiety, this sadness, this terror, all of these bad feelings that you have, they have to lift, they have to go. Because right now she doesn't believe you can change. It doesn't matter if you stay away for as long as you want. You need to show her in the proper way that you have changed. How can you change? Well, actually changing and doing the things that I show you in the program. About your next move, I want to also add this here. You need to understand the real reason she left. You need to educate yourself. Even if you're James Bond, I quite often hear guys tell me, oh man, I don't have any problem with other women. I'm good, I understand attraction, but dude, in relationships we get rusty. If you knew what you were doing, you wouldn't end up in this situation. You would have seen it coming from miles away. Right now, you need to educate yourself. There's 7 things you need to read, 7 relationship books you need to read while you work on healing and recovery. And that's why cold approach is extremely important, because cold approach gives you the ability to replicate her company. And most of the times guys say, oh, I don't want to go on date with anybody else. Look, if she's seeing somebody else, if she's told you the relationship is over, it's not your choice anymore, man. You need to have options. Because you're in this situation, you can sit back and be upset about it or move forward. She wants you to move forward. She doesn't want to be with a weak guy. A weak guy doesn't have options. I'm not saying go out and start having random sex. I'm just saying start cold approaching. In the program, I'll give you a complete course on cold approach. It means how to meet people in a cafe, how to meet new women. It doesn't mean you go on multiple days and start seeing all these random people. No, you need to have the abilities that she has as well. If she's an attractive woman, she's going to have options around her. Whoever has the options has the higher ground. If you want to get her back, you have to have the higher ground. For you to have the higher ground, you need to have options. For you to have options, you need to understand cold approach. Yeah, dating apps are cool, but they could get depressing because, you know, whoever ends up in dating apps, they probably have, it's like they're watching 10 different movies. You're just one of them. Cold approach is a holy grail of all of this. You need to learn cold approach as well. There are a bunch of books that I give you in the program as well. There are reference books. You need to go through them, starting with Female Brain. There's a lot of things that you need to do. Like I said, right after breakup, you need a plan. You need to do everything step by step if you want to come out of this. You can do this without a plan. You either have the plan or you have the anxiety and terror and confusion. This might take a few weeks. It might take longer depending on how you are when I work with guys. I notice some guys are mentally and emotionally stronger. Some are weaker. I don't know how you are. I don't know if you follow instructions or not. Depending on how you are, how ready you are, it can take a few weeks. It can take longer. Your skills, your current skills, it's just not going to cut it anymore. Maybe you're a badass player. Maybe you're a guy who has many girls in his life before. But right now, there are skills that you need to learn. Relationship skills, negotiation skills, skills to manage your emotions. That's why, again, Extract Master Plan, the program really helps with that. After the breakup or divorce, these are the most important things you need to remember. If you want to get her back, if you want to heal and recover, if you want to move on, never, ever forget these. Watch these, take notes, and remember this. If you want results, the first thing is the idealization of the previous relationship. It just happens automatically. Your mind does not want to go through this struggle. Your mind is suffering. Your mind is hurt and upset. And what it does, it just focuses on everything that was good about the relationship. Why? Because when you have those good thoughts about the relationship, when you have good thoughts about her, you get some dopamine, you may get some oxytocin, you have the feeling good. So quite often when I ask guys to write a list of everything that they didn't like about the relationship, they struggle because their mind doesn't allow them to focus on the bad. And ironically, if you want to move on, if you want to get stronger, if you want to get her back, you need to focus on things that were not good. Otherwise, you put it on a pedestal and you only think about everything that was good, and it only makes you weaker because then you only focus on, oh, look at what I lost. And then you keep comparing other people to her. So beware. You can even study if you want idea of idealization of their previous relationship. It's like this invisible force that gets you to stick to what you used to have and doesn't let you move forward. Then there's the idea of evolution. Basically, the current state that you have is temporary. Think about a day before you and her met. You didn't even know she exists. When was it? A few months ago, a few years ago? Go to that state. Then think about when you met her and your relationship was awesome. The peak, all the great times that you have with her. And now think about now. If you compare these 3 steps, 3 stages of relationship, you see there has been an evolution. There was nothing, then there was something good, now it's really bad. The next step is just around the corner. So this thing constantly changes. The state of relationship constantly changes. It's not going to stay still. It's going to change. So if you feel completely defeated and totally fucked, this is going to change. How fast will it change? It's completely up to you. The other thing that I wanted to know is that your mind is going to play games with you and manipulate you into defeat and self-sabotaging thoughts. Thoughts like, where is she? What is she doing? Who is she with? Why did she leave me? What can I do without her? What if I never find anybody like her ever again? You need to have full awareness of these thoughts. I showed you in previous slides as well. You need to have full awareness of these thoughts and know how to redirect them. Some of them you have to process, some of them you have to stare them in the eye, and some of them that are useless you have to redirect. I teach you this on day 2 of the program, Thought Combat. If you're not in the program, click on the link in the description and sign up, because this is one of those things, the most important thing that you learn, not only for the relationship, for yourself, how to manage your thoughts, and your relationship with your mind, which is a relationship that most people don't really work on because they don't know about it. That's the most important relationship in your life. Your conscious, you're watching this video, and your subconscious that triggers all of those thoughts. And of course, the symptoms that I showed you here, these are the symptoms. If you're going through that, do not discount the emotions that you have. They're there for a reason. You have to process them. And also there's the idea that rejection creates obsession. Several times, like I've seen this over and over and over. Imagine you break up with this girl. The amount of pain that you feel after the separation is nothing compared to if she dumps you. It's just a crazy psychological thing. When you get dumped, that rejection in most people creates obsession. Even if the relationship was not good, just because you got rejected, you start to obsess over that person. And that's another thing that most guys don't see it. The next thing is the idea of the trade. Dude, it's just like a transaction. Relationships are transactional. Let me explain what it means. It means something happens between you and her, and she started to feel more bad emotions than good emotions. She started to feel more bad emotions than good emotions. This transaction, this relationship is like a business transaction, and the currency is the emotions. She would not leave you if the relationship was good, if she felt all good things about you and the relationship. It got to a point that the bad became more than good, and she left. This is a trade. I always say here, survival of the fittest here, may the best man win. The guy who can bring more of better emotions to the equation ends up with her. Now it goes both ways. If she gives you headache, if she gives you problem, you're gonna walk away. But now you are on the other side, and you're on the side that was left alone. And it's all just transactional, man. This is not personal. There's also a kryptonite rule. Every guy, even James Bond, there is one person that they feel difference. Doesn't matter who this person is, there is this emotional connection that, just like Superman and kryptonite. Superman was Superman. He was invincible, but there was kryptonite. This one for you is kryptonite. So even if you're a badass guy, even if you got a lot of women who want to be with you, this is a different story. That's why you need to get help for texting, because no matter how good you are, you're going to make mistakes with texting and communication. And that's why, as a big part of the program, I help you with texting as well, because you need to check every single message you want to send. You got to check it with me until you guys get back together and you hook up a few times. Until then, she's a kryptonite. You got to be very, very careful, because no matter how good you are, if you're a normal person, you're going to make mistakes with her. Now, after stabilization, what happens? Let me show you these stages one more time. Everything that I showed you up to here is when you go from step 1 to step 5. I really want to take you through all of these. Like I said, most guys don't make it all the way through. But when you do, this is what happens. When you go through this transformation, when you finish your program, you're no longer sad. The sadness at one point turns to anger, then it turns to drive, and drive turns to progress, and progress turns to happiness. Then you forgive her, you forgive yourself. Most guys cannot forgive, and that's why they move. They wonder why they can't move, because they carry all this resentment. Then you will have acceptance, which is a superpower. I did a group coaching call about emotional resilience, which I show you in the program as well. If you join, you will see the power of acceptance, and how if you're emotionally resilient, you can accept. You can move forward. If you don't accept what is happening, dude, if you don't accept what is happening right now, you will not be able to move forward. And the pain stays with you, and getting it back will be just a dream. You need to let go. You need to, then when you elevate, when you stabilize, you do things that are show you, then you remember who you were before you met. Remember that cool guy who met her? How was your first interaction? You need to get back there. Your skills are refreshed. You're no longer desperate. You eat well, you sleep well, you have sex either with her or with somebody else. And this transformation, this progress affects everything else in your life as well. Now, what you're going through can completely change your life, either for better or for worse. If you want a plan, I can help you go through this step by step. Before anything else, click on the link below and watch the training that I have on the state control system. If it resonates, then message you and I'll walk you through every single step.